Hello, I'm Rob Phillips, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 45-minute yin yoga sequence that's mostly going to focus on the outer hips, and we'll be focusing on the meditative theme of mindfulness of the breath. For props, as usual for my classes, I'll recommend that you have a couple of blocks and a blanket. I do have an email list, so if you want to stay in touch, you can find the link for that in the description down below. Otherwise, for today, we're going to be starting on our back, so start to find your way there. You can lie down. To begin, really any comfortable position is fine. So if you want to use props, if you want to get set up, I would welcome and encourage that. You can have your knees bent. You could spread out like Shavasana, whatever feels good here. For the arms, if the arms are wide, it might be a little harder to connect with your breath. So you can consider placing your hands on the ribs or the belly if that helps you feel that a little more directly. Either way, once you're set up here, you can close your eyes. Start to feel the energy settle. Start to feel as the body drops in. And before we get into any specifics, any details here, just begin first by noticing how you're feeling right now. Notice how the body feels at this moment. Notice any thoughts, any mental patterns that may be arising for you in this moment. Relaxing the body and giving the mind permission to simply be here. Simply notice just what is here and now. And then directing the attention just very lightly, as I said in the introduction here, towards noticing the movements of your breath. Towards feeling the rise and fall in the ribs and the abdomen. Keep in mind that, at least usually in a yin yoga practice, the way I teach it, I don't recommend a particularly deep breath or an overly strong breath. Just relax the body so that the breath moves naturally and smoothly. You can start to feel subtle rise and fall. You can start to feel any subtle shifts of things. And when the attention inevitably wanders into thoughts or reactions, just try to let that go. Come back to feeling the breath here. Come back to noticing those waves. So that little by noticing the breath, you're encouraging the attention to rest more and more in this moment. We're using it to ground the attention, we might say. So let's feel that here for just a few more passes, a few more cycles. Nice, easy, natural breath. And take a gentle inhale breath here through your nose. Open up your mouth and exhale, let that go. Open up the eyes here for a moment just to get set up. We'll be staying on our back for the next several poses. So let's all get on the same page here for the alignment of the body. So walk the feet in, have your knees bent. You can feel good. Just kind of sway, shift to loosen things up a little bit here. Then from here, though, keep your right foot flat on the floor and cross your left ankle over the right knee. We're going to make a figure 4 setup. So for some folks, really just being here may be enough. So feel free to stay exactly like this if this feels adequate for your body. If you want to go deeper, you can consider threading the needle. So reaching through, drawing the right leg in. You can hold on like under the knee, or you can hold on over the knee is kind of how I prefer. We're not really pulling here so much as just like resting the arms, relaxing. That weight will kind of create a natural pull. And especially if you dialed this up, you should notice a nice release on the outer left hip, outside edge of that leg. As we get started with the more physical work, remember, no pose should ever feel intense. No pose should ever feel like you're doing too much with your body here. And especially when we're doing outer hip openers like we are today, if you feel anything at all in your knees, be particularly careful with that. It's something we categorically want to avoid here. But otherwise, when you find that alignment, allow for the body to relax, allow yourself to settle into this pose. Noticing what it feels like to be here. Just tuning into the natural rise and fall. Tuning into the natural expansion and contraction. And by noticing the breath again, that becomes our anchor in the present moment. Let's take a final complete breath like you are here. If you picked up the legs here, lower them down, but let's all stay in this cross here. We're actually going to build basically into a second part of this. So for second part here, building from this cross, with your next exhale, release the legs over towards the right side here. So you're now twisting in that figure 4 shape. Hopefully that feels reasonable for your body. If that feels like too much, or if it's just not comfortable, you can redo the legs a little bit, but you'll be twisting, letting the legs fall over to the right. As you find your alignment here, again, relax the body. Feel a little bit more pull on like the waist and the hips. You might also continue to feel some of that release on the outer hip. Relaxing the body in general, letting there be no destination you're trying to get to. No place other than right here and right now. You feel the subtle rise and fall of the breath, the subtle movements shifting beneath the surface. Let that awareness of the breath keep you anchored in the present moment. For now, let's take just one more breath like we are. And from here, you can slowly begin to wind the legs back into the middle. Let them shift and uncross. Maybe take a little movement, kind of sway here and there. And we'll take a little pause here. So extend the legs out onto the floor. Take like a mini Shavasana for a few breaths. Nice neutral shape, nice kind of clean shape even, we could say. Feel how the body is responding to the sequence so far. Feel any shift in the quality of your nervous system and the quality of your attention. All the reasons why we explore practices like this in the first place. Let's take a gentle inhale breath through our nose. Gentle exhale breath out your mouth. Slowly walk our legs in. We'll have our knees bent. We'll have our feet planted flat on the floor. And we'll set up for those same two poses, but the second side. So cross your right ankle over the left knee. Make that figure four shape. Again, you could stay like this. This may be enough for your body. Or if you feel up for it, consider, when you're ready, threading the needle. So reaching through, you can hug behind that leg. I personally like to hold over the knee. That's just more comfortable for me. So again, experiment to see what works well for your body. Again, there should be very little effort happening. You're not like pulling on the leg so much as just placing the hands there. Placing the hands there will naturally create that bit of release, a bit more direct effect, especially on the outer edge of the right leg. Those outer hips where we're so focused today. And keep the shoulders soft, the neck and the face soft. And just tune into the natural rise and fall of your breath. Keep coming back to noticing those simple waves. Keep relaxing the body, of course. Keep settling into the practice. And all these pieces interact. Everything is happening together, even when we do direct the attention towards something specific like the breath. And if you did pick up that left leg, slowly lower it down. But again, we're going to keep the cross here. We're moving into basically like part two of this. So from here, take a gentle inhale breath. And slowly, as you exhale, roll the legs over towards the left-hand side. So again, ideally, you try and keep that figure four shape set up. You need to undo the legs or adapt this. You can do what feels right for your body. Trust your intuition, but twisting with the legs moving over to the left. Feeling how that shifts the effect of the pose, but still some emphasis on the outside line of that right leg. But approaching it from a slightly different angle, having a slightly different intention here, of course, now. Feeling for the subtle expansion with each inhale. The subtle softening, the subtle release with each exhale here. Take a final moment here to feel the pose. And then from here, you can gently begin to wind the legs back into the middle and release any cross or anything like that. Take a few little shifts, again, stir things up, but then let's pause again here. Spreading out onto the floor, relaxing into this nice neutral shape. And as you rest here, just noticing any sense of like resonance in the body, sense of lightness and space. Feel, again, little by little, the body opens up. And as we drop into things, it can feel almost light, almost energetic. Even though this practice is generally gentle, it's still immensely powerful. Really feel how that's dropping in. And let's take a nice deep inhale breath through our nose. Open up the mouth to exhale and let that go. So from here, we're going to reorient ourselves and we're going to end up on our belly. So really, actually, the shortest path there would be to do what I'm about to do and simply roll yourself over in place here so that now you're facing, the other way on your mat. If you feel inclined to like completely reorient yourself or something like that, certainly you could do that. Once we're on our belly, we're going to set up into a Sphinx pose. So rising up onto the elbows, lifting into the chest here. Now, as you dial this in, you can fine-tune the spacing of the arms. You can drop the head up or down. Really, just make sure this feels right for your body. Should feel a mild sense of compression in the lower back, but nothing sharp, nothing intense. Again, that's true for every pose, but especially when we work with the spine. And again, here as you relax, just noticing the feeling of being here in your body. Noticing the natural rise and fall of your breath. Feeling how by noticing the breath, we become more connected with the present moment. Continue to drop more and more into our experience. Take your final complete breath, just like you are. And slowly begin to lower down the chest, release towards the floor. Take a few nice deep breaths here. Feel the decompression in the spine. Feel what may have opened up for you there. Feel any flow of energy moving. Use your hands from here as you exhale, gently press your hips back. And find your way for a few moments into a child's pose. Just feeling for a bit of release in your back, decompression in the spine. You can even press with the hands a little bit to emphasize that, to dial it in just a little bit more. And then take a gentle inhale breath through your nose. Open up your mouth to exhale and let that out. Here you can sit up for a moment and we'll set up for where we will be going next. So from here, I'm going to highly recommend that you use a blanket. We'll be setting up for either pigeon pose, if you can safely get into that, or a deer pose can be a modified version of that. We'll be targeting our left hip first. So for pigeon, we slide our left leg up, and keep in mind for yin yoga, you don't need to get this perfectly parallel. It can have a bit of a bend into it. You can slide, blanket, pillow, anything you'd like under that left hip to give you support. Remember what I said earlier, there should be no sensation in that left knee. If you find pigeon is too intense, sometimes drawing the right leg in, taking this more as a deer pose, can be a little more mild. So that can be a good way to make the pose more gentle or modify if you would like. And then once you've dialed up your alignment for the lower body, any amount, begin to release. Drop the chest down towards the floor. As you drop the chest down towards the floor, you can lean onto blocks or to another cushion if you would like. Or you can just rest on the arms, kind of like I am here. Notice this is targeting very similar lines to what that figure 4 on our back did a few minutes ago. But I know for my body, and probably for yours too, this is quite a bit stronger. Again, no problem if you can really feel the pose, but it shouldn't feel painful, shouldn't feel like too much. If there's anything weird going on in the knee, again, we want to be careful with that. But if all seems reasonable, relaxing the body. Noticing the waves of your breath. Noticing the simple rise and fall. And take a final complete breath right there, like you are. Gently press into the floor, start to rise up. And to come out, I like to sweep back leg forwards, just kind of perch myself off of any props I was on top of, and just sit nice and tall here for a few breaths, for a minute or so. Again, feel the resonance and the release in the body. It can be nice to notice any contrast between the two sides. Again, feeling with each subsequent pose how the system opens up, how we drop deeper and deeper into this experience. Gentle inhale breath through your nose. Gentle exhale breath out your mouth. From here, we'll set up for the second side. So again, highly recommend using a blanket or even a thicker cushion if you have one and you would like to. So we're going to slide the right leg forwards and slide the left leg back. Again, pigeon is the target. If you would prefer to modify, that deer pose with the left leg tucked in can be a good way to do that. Again, you want to bridge the gap here so that that hip has a support so that you feel relatively grounded, relatively stable here. And then once you've got that all set up, take a slow inhale to invite some length. Use a slow exhale to release. Gradually lowering your way down towards the floor, maybe towards props if you would prefer. Again, this can be a pose that many bodies will feel significantly. And significant isn't a problem per se, but I know I say this all the time, it's important. It should not feel like too much. Should not feel like it might be harmful in any way. So that then, from that place, we just relax. We just land here. Feeling the pose just as it is. Noticing the breath just as it is. Always being here for this moment. And take a final complete breath just like you are. Press into the floor, slowly rise up and Again, carefully sweep your back leg forwards. Extend the other leg out in front, and we'll start here first just with like a short pause. Feeling the release in the body, feeling nice straight legs, soft shoulders. Notice where you're at this moment. Feel the echo of the pose, the rebound of the pose, even you could call that. And take a gentle inhale breath through the nose. Open up the mouth, exhale, and let that out. Now, from here, we're going to actually essentially turn where we're at now into a slightly more proper pose. So to set that up, I'd recommend that you take a blanket or other cushion just to place under the hips to lift yourself up on. This could be a place where blocks might be nice. If you want to grab your blocks, give yourself a foundation there to sit up on top of. For the setup of the legs, I'd say separate your feet just slightly wider than the hips. Not like anywhere near an actual straddle, but not super closed in either. Just give your legs a little bit of like extra room there. Relax the legs and the shoulders, and keep in mind that if your legs are especially tight, maybe just being here is enough for your body. Or perhaps any amount you'd like to lean in, feeling a little bit of round in the spine, but making sure that the shoulders, the neck feel comfortable. We did a lot of work with bent legs today, right? So this can be a good chance to actually bring length into the back of the legs again, to kind of decompress those lines a bit. And as you feel the pose, keep the body soft. Use as little effort as is needed, which really is almost none. And just feel the natural waves of your breath. Subtle expansion and contraction here in each moment. Mind may wander, attention may shift, but breath is always here to reconnect with. And take a final complete breath just like you are. Slowly begin to rise up out of that fold. And as you come up, it can be nice to roll the legs, the shoulders, just kind of free everything up in the back line of the body. Take your time to move that a bit here. And so from here, we can clear pretty much everything out. We're going to make our way all the way onto our back. So as you lie down, we'll take a short pause. So just releasing onto the floor, spreading out, taking up a good bit of space, and just rest here for a few moments. Take like a mini shavasana. Body has landed, body is here. Entering the final phase of our sequence for today. From here on our back, we will be setting up into banana pose, which is really like a big side bend. So to set that up, you'll walk the feet in. Knees are bent. You're going to lift up the hips and scoot them over to the left, and then lower the hips down to the floor. With the hips on the floor, take the legs long, and they start to shift to the right. So this is not a twist. You're lying flat on your back, but you're kind of making a bit of a banana shape so that you feel that release on the outside left side of the body. And then from there, once you've dialed up that stretch, it can feel nice perhaps to cross your left ankle on top, to reach your arms up and overhead if you'd like here. So you feel that nice pull, but again, you're basically lying flat on the ground with that little bit of side body emphasis. Let yourself relax here and just gently notice the breath. Notice the natural rise and fall of things here. Take a final complete breath like you are. Release the legs, shift the body so that you're resting more neutral, and just take a few breaths here. Take a few moments here. Feel how that simple pose has opened up the left side of the body. And then from here, as you're ready to, we'll set up for the second side. So walk your feet in, have the knees bent, lift the hips up and scoot them over to the right side, and then lower the hips down. With the hips down, take the legs long and move them to the left. Again, you're trying to dial in like a pull on the right side of the body. You're in kind of a curved shape on the floor. This is optional, but maybe consider crossing your right ankle on top. Similarly, consider taking your arms overhead. So you're lying flat on your back. You're not twisting so much, but you created like a curved shape in the body. So you feel some pull on the right side. And as you find that alignment, let yourself relax, let yourself drop in and settle here. Notice the breath. Notice how the whole system responds to this work. And be here. Take a final complete breath, just like you are. Shift your way back into the middle and unwind the pose. Releasing your way out here, spreading out onto the floor and setting up for a final Shavasana. Grabbing any props if you'd like, ensuring you feel comfortable. We're going to be here for just a couple of minutes. So here now with your eyes closed, one last time we'll completely release our breath. So take a gentle inhale breath through the nose. Open up the mouth to exhale and let absolutely everything go here for these final few minutes. So just remaining here on your back for a final few moments and feeling what has settled, feeling what has rebalanced during that time. Begin to deepen your breath. Begin to feel the energy move and flow once again. Rolling onto your side, gently pressing your way up into a comfortable seat and closing your eyes as you arrive there. Here now, feeling the full effects of your practice, feeling the full shift of both body and mind. And joining the hands in front of the heart. So again, and as always, my deep thanks to each of you for sharing your practice. And may our practice bring benefit to all beings. And we bow. So again, thank you so very much for joining. And if you have thoughts, comments, observations, anything at all, please let me know in the comments down below.